Men, stand up, be fathers. And this will change tomorrow, I promise you.
Father of sons is a crisis in our country, particularly in the African American community. It is an epidemic. Let's start with a father's role. What is that role?
Protector, provider, and to be a model, a demonstration of what it is to be a man.
Their statistics are really actually pretty mesmerizing when you consider, the percentage of young men in prison who did not grow up with fathers, teenage pregnancy and all of those things. But, you go so far as to saying this is our biggest problem as a nation, and the biggest threat to the nation is fatherlessness. Why is it such a big threat?
It's not that there might not be a father in the home. There could be a father in the home who's abdicated his role. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. We are suffering from tremendous failure of men who have stepped aside, abdicated their role as husband, father, and leaders.
So many things, I thought, I'll never be like that. I'll never do that. But then I picked up a lot of other damaging things that come from that trauma.
Their identity is shaped by interacting with their fathers and their mothers, but we're talking about dads today. They're looking at dad because they're trying to figure out some things about themselves.
Behind all those statistics is an individual, a little boy, a little girl, who's trying to understand. And it's difficult to be what you don't see. And it's difficult to become what you didn't have. Kids have a hole in their soul in the shape of their dad. And if a father is unable or unwilling to fill that hole, it can leave a wound that's not easily healed.
Is the consequences of that hole.
Guys don't even have the language to say, I feel void, empty, inadequate, less than because I didn't have a father.
Me personally, I didn't have my father. I would see men, they look like my dad. I missed him. I would want to talk. He wasn't available.
When the communication between the mother and the father breaks down, it's not in the best interest, because your son's still going to have to work through all of those issues. And after a while, he'll just stop asking you. But that doesn't mean he's going to stop feeling anything that he's feeling. And he'll start telling himself his own story, which a lot of times is not an accurate story.
My means of passions were all of these negative influences because I was influenced by those who didn't have an influence themselves. Blind leading the blind. A bunch of kids out there trying to survive. So I can't take claim to being so smart and making all of the right decisions.
What I was taught in my hood, in my area, is that simply because I was a man, I was more valuable than the women in my life.
Not having my dad, man, I got a firm fight to be a father. Didn't realize how difficult it was when mama was gone, until she was gone. Being a provider is a piece of cake compared to being a single parent.
I remember times with my daughter Azriel, and I would yell at her as if she was a 30-year-old man. And I remember these times, and I remember I constantly apologize, constantly call them and say, I'm sorry. Daddy didn't get it. Daddy missed it.
This young man here, he didn't say, well, I didn't get those Nikes. What did he say? He said, I ran touchdowns or whatever, and there was no one there.
You see, your presence in their lives gives them validation. They ain't got to find it in the streets. Men who have jobs, busting your tail for that dollar and forgetting about the child that's watching you every day.
Success is the warmest place to hide. I knew I had a problem, and I got help.
Shed some light on what we're...
Every person in this audience within earshot of my voice has a responsibility to the child in your life that you love, whether it's your own child, whether it's your niece or your nephew, your grandchild, a child that you just know. The reason we cannot afford to bash our dads anymore is because it breaks children. The best research shows that. But when was the last time you saw a dad portrayed as a hero in an advertisement or a movie? The last time that I can think of that was in The Pursuit of Happiness.
Keep your heart open to the child's father. Keep your heart. If you connect with him heart to heart, he'll be able to connect with you. and provide the things that you need.
So just the fact that you say, I love you, I'm watching you, it makes a world of difference, man. Because it's that guy in the street that say, hey man, I got you. He ain't really got it. Ain't nobody gonna ever have you like your daddy got you.
This is the deal. We have to speak up. We have to speak up.
Awareness. We need to make them understand what their role is. We need to make them understand how important their words are. And if they understand that the words that they speak both have positive and negative connotations to it, that those positive connotations we need to promote more and more every day, and bless our children. Bless our children with our words. Bless them with our actions. We can make a change right now.
We have a responsibility to restore respect and honor and a rightful position to every dad in America. You want to be a game changer? You want to change our country and our culture? Change our families by changing our kids. And ladies and gentlemen, it all begins with our mouths and how we speak to the good men in our lives. Thank you.
For all your parents out there, I got a message. Just make the effort. I know it can be difficult at times. I know it can be extremely hard with the schedules that we run, especially if we are single parents. But please make the effort to support your children as much as you can. Just going through my memory lane, I can remember, playing sports and looking up in the stands and having no family member there. And I'm not even talking my parents, because they were way gone out of my life at an earlier age. I'm just referring to family members. I remember looking up on the bleachers and seeing no one there to support me. And that did something to me, where at that age I didn't realize how much damage it was doing. But now looking back in retrospect, as an adult and looking back at at certain choices and actions that I've committed over the time and growing, all of that had an effect on me. All of that made me move in certain direction that probably was not the best for me at the time. So if you can, please, parents, support your children, be there for them. Let them know somebody's cheering them on. Let them know somebody's watching. Please. Be a light in a too often dim world.